Thank you, Joaquin. Thank you, Julio. For me, it's a real pleasure to stay here moderating these two fantastic leaders, no, grid managers that they are leading two projects that they think that are very different, and they are facing different challenges like fintech, regtech, insurtech, foodtech, and agrotech. No, basically, they are working in these areas. They are
Me voy a
working differently.
robarla,
And I
sí.
think that it's very interesting to learn about how two different companies, the approach that they have, these two different companies. Okay, so let's just go to the first question. Okay, Joaquin, can you introduce Agrolimen New Venture Hub?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Josep, for inviting me to be here today. It's a great opportunity for us to be in front of these nice people presenting Agrolimen and the new Venture Hub. First of all, let me start with Agrolimen. I don't know how familiar are you with Agrolimen. Agrolimen is a consumer foods group, a Spanish group with focus on human food and pet food. And we are present in Europe, in the US, and also in Africa.
Me
No?
voy a robar.
I'm sure that more than Agrolimen, what you will know more or less in Spain are our main brands. That is Gallina Blanca for the human food division and Affinity for the pet food division. No? Having said that, our new business hub is our corporate venturing unit, where we do two things. First, we invest in startups. We are quite similar to a venture capital, but trying to put smart money on the table. No, we try to help to push the companies from an industrial point of view, not only with the money, with the support in terms of money. And the second thing that we do is we build our own startups. We act as a venture builder, also with a startup approach, with external teams, giving those guys a significant pie of the shareholder to preserve the entrepreneurial spirit. And
Okay.
this is the new venture hub.
Okay. Thank you, Joaquin. Welcome. Julio, what about InnoCells?
Thank you very much, Josep, for having me here. It's such a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I work at Banco Sabadell. Banco Sabadell is the fourth largest Spanish bank, strong presence in the UK, throughout TSB Bank, and also in Mexico. InnoCells is the corporate venturing unit. This is the innovation hub or the digital business unit. We have been testing for the last 3 years that we've been up and running a number of innovation tools. We were born as a venture builder, and we have launched four companies into the market. But we also run the digital strategy for the bank, so we are kind of the lighthouse in terms of digital strategy and perspectives into disruption. We also have a corporate venture fund, so we heavily invest in fintech companies worldwide, so with a special focus on the UK market, also Mexico, and then Europe, Spain, and Germany. And we have been doing a number of other initiatives. We are implementing, for instance, design thinking and lean methodologies within the corporation. So we are also testing innovation at the core, and then therefore blending two models, outside in and also core innovation.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about corporate venture. What do you think? Why do you think that this kind of units, Julio, are interesting or necessary for large groups or large companies?
I think that there are a number of ways in which a large corporation can approach the world and can have a window to understand what's going on. And obviously, you all well know that disruption is accelerating. And I think corporations and incumbents, especially in sectors that are subject to and a special risk of disruption, such as financial institutions and other sectors, right, like media or telcos and so on, need to find different tools that suit them better. There is no by the book kind of thing, so I think you need to test many things and then apply those that work better for you. And the objective here is to have a window into the world, to anticipate disruption, and to have an impact into your core business. So the thing here is to accelerate transformation and innovation.
And this way, Joaquin, for a corporate venture, what's a successful exit?
Well, for us, we are a strategic investor. No, for us, and a successful exit will be to sell the companies, the startups, to our divisions. No, that they remain with us, that they get to the scale that we need, and that they are profitable in the long run. No, if otherwise we sell the company to a third party, well, it could be a success, but not that much. No.
And why do you think this kind of approach is interesting for entrepreneurs?
Well, for entrepreneurs, I think it's very interesting, no? Because as I said before, we try to put on the table smart money, and in this sense, I think that we increase the chances of success. I mean, creating a startup is tough. We all know, no? That the chances of success maybe is 10, 20%. Our belief is that with our support and knowledge, we are able to increase this success rate, no, for the entrepreneur. And in this sense, we think that our approach is attractive for them.
Okay. So, Julio, in this way, what kind of opportunities are you searching for?
We are very active in the fintech market. So essentially, we are looking for companies we can partner with. So we scout throughout the world to find the right teams and technologies that can partner with the bank and therefore foster transformation and innovation within the bank. So this is going to be in areas in which the bank is very strong, such as SME banking, for instance, also private banking, and a number of areas where we find opportunities.
And in your case, Joaquin, what kind of opportunities?
Well, basically what we are looking are opportunities within some specific areas that we are interested in. We are interested in new technologies, for instance, raw pet food, homemade pet food, in the case of the pet food division. We are interested in new channels, mainly B2C approach, subscription business models. We are also interested in alternative proteins, alternative ingredients. We are interested in sustainable ingredients and also in personalization. Those are the main 5 areas in which we are interested in.
And when you are searching for opportunities, what size are you looking for? No? What kind of opportunities?
Yeah.
No?
So when it comes to corporate venturing and precisely investing in venture capital, we typically, our sweet spot is Series A. And then the round size, obviously this is going to vary. If we invest in the UK or in Israel, where we have investments, valuations are higher there than in Spain, for instance. We have also invested in Singapore, for instance, looking for particular technologies that are truly enhancing our value proposition at the bank.
We are trying to find opportunities that we consider that in a 3 to 5 year time horizon can reach more than 25, 30 million euros. We want these companies to be international, not only local, not based in Spain, for instance. And we want those companies to be sustainable, to be profitable in the long run. No?
I think that probably you have a funnel for initiative. No? How does it work?
So a funnel, essentially, I think of a funnel in terms of competition. Right? So
Yeah.
we use a number of innovation tools, as I said, but the opportunity cost is high. We put different opportunities for different segments when it comes to startups or startups, meaning for investing or even in partnerships, right? So you cannot deploy all your resources and try to partner with everybody. So there is a need and a strong need to prioritize and to focus. That would be my first thought, and my second thought would be how you think of innovation as a portfolio, and then how the different. I try to very actively manage the portfolio, right? So if I see that venture capital or partnerships are producing more results than another initiatives, such as investing in funds, no? Doing a fund of fund strategy, which we've done, or whatever it is, or venture building, or any of the tools we've done, M&A, then you want to go all in, right? And fully exhaust the opportunity there. So essentially, yeah, we try to maximize returns.
Okay, in your case, Joaquin?
In our case, we have 2 approaches, the proactive and the reactive. Obviously, we try to be very proactive. We try to define in what areas we are interested, and we systematically look for opportunities in our core geographies within these opportunities. No, we try to contact or to meet with all the startups that we find in this area. We try to compare metrics, KPIs, the teams, etc., and to choose what we think that will be the successful startup and try to invest in this company. For the reactive, obviously we come to events, we partner with the universities, etc., and we receive a lot of leads, no?
Okay.
But we rely more on the proactive approach.
Okay. So basically, you incubate, no? You develop, you invest, and probably you generate operations of M&A. What kind of what do you prioritize? What do you prefer? Investing, M&As, incubation, or incubating?
That's a. I wouldn't pick one, right? So each problem needs a particular solution. So, for instance, if you identify a startup that has an offering that is super core to the bank and that you truly want to deploy that technology or solution to your whole user base, then the conversation turns out to be very strategic, right? So you probably want to have a majority stake. So the positioning then is going to be, okay, can we be the acquirer of choice? Are we an attractive acquirer for this entrepreneurial team? And can they go and exit to us? We've done that in a couple of situations. For instance, so for that solution, for that problem, we have come across this solution. Then my view here is you need to allow time for the corporation and yourself to learn about that, right? So it's not, okay, I go nuts with M&A and then we try to buy a lot of companies. This is a process that you need to truly reflect on and learn from your mistakes and also the positive things that you have done. So basically, I don't think of tools in the portfolio that are better than others. I truly think of what's the solution that I need to find for the corporate for this particular problem that the corporate is facing.
Okay.
In our case, unless it's very core to the business, and unless we have a very clear competitive advantage, why we think that we can succeed in this opportunity, we always prefer to invest in startups instead of creating our own startups. I think it's much more efficient. The talent is out there, and the entrepreneurial spirit is critical to this success story.
Okay, you have an industrial approach, basically, no? So, how does it fit with VCs or entrepreneurs' mentality, no?
Yeah, that's
How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing to manage, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we need to bring something different to the table. In our case, we are purists. So we feel very strongly about going to the market with very standard terms. So we align very easily with financial VCs and with entrepreneurs. So in our case, when we have, for instance, co-invested with other corporates, we have fought against ROFOs, for instance, rights of first refusal, exclusivities, anything in general that can jeopardize the growth of the startup or the exit. So we come from an industrial perspective, but we don't allow our strategic interest to get to mingle into the success of the startup. If that's the case, as I mentioned before, then you need to be honest to yourself, and then you need to acquire, right? So you don't want to mask a strategic interest in a deal that needs to be in favor of all the stakeholders in the deal. So I think that we are known in the market for being super standard. We are typically actually leaning by the side of the entrepreneur, typically. So no issues on that front so far.
In our case, our approach is basically at the first investment, we act as a financial investor. We take a minority stake, 5 to 10%. Then we get to know the team. We learn about the opportunity. We try to help them. And when we get this trust with the startup, with the entrepreneurs, then we continue investing to reach a 30, 35% stake. And at that precise moment is when we want to get a path to control. No? But at the very beginning, we start without any special rights, just a seat in the board, and we generate this trust before going further.
Okay. And could you share with us your 3 main challenges that you are facing in the next couple of years or 3 years?
The first of all would be, so I'm truly obsessed about bringing the client at the core of the corporation, of the incumbent. Obviously, we have done a lot of work in that direction, but I'm thinking how to use innovation tools to accelerate that process, and that's why we have started to deploy, design thinking and other methodologies to truly transform the core. Acknowledging that a model that is outside in, which essentially corporate venturing is, has some limitations when it comes to strategic impact, right? So probably, my latest thoughts are, okay, let's combine both worlds. So truly placing the client at the core is my main priority. I would argue that my second priority is to keep up with talent attraction. So we are also hiring. That's being the talent is competitive, the market is competitive. There is a lot of talent out there, but so we have been blessed. I think we have a dream team.
The battle for the talent probably is global, no?
It is actually global, right? So, and we have people that have left to start their own company, people that want to, probably work in London for a while. So this is very global. A bunch of us were working abroad, decided to come back to Spain. So different stories. But talent attraction, we are a team of about 40 people, is key, and we have been running for 3 years, and then also retention is now a priority for us. So our performance correlates 100% with talent.
Okay, and Joaquin, for you?
For us, our main talent is, the first, the second, and the third, I think, is people, and people, no? As he said, talent is critical. In startup, you don't have that many processes, so everything relies on the team, on the people, finding the right person, the right skills, the right culture, leadership, no? I think it's critical for the success of the startup, and also for the success of our hub, no? Having said that, another two challenges will be to change the culture of the company, of the divisions, of the board, because we are a traditional company in this sense, so we have to get the buy-in, no, from the rest of the organization, and with the results we get this thing done. And the last thing is picking the right battles, no, and selecting the right startups when we invest. But above all, people.
And finally, talking about conventional companies, how do you manage the cultural, environment in a conventional company and the cultural environment in a startups company? How do you manage that?
That's a very interesting question, actually. So InnoCells is a team that is the middle layer, right, that sits between the corporation and startups out there. First of all, as we spoke before, I think it's a matter of resilience, right? So, the InnoCells team and also startups are very pushy. They have strong incentives to move things very fast without considering probably other angles into the problem that need to be considered from a corporate standpoint, especially in a regulated sector where we have a lot of pressure in terms of compliance. So I think it is resilience and persistence, right? So I think these things take years. So management books say that a cultural change takes at least 7 years. So we have been 3 operating. So I think we have to be resilient for 4 more years.
Okay, thank you very much, Joaquin. Thank you very much, Julio. I think an applause for them.
Thank you, Josep.
Thank you very much.